Hey everyone, what is going on? I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy, and today I want to recap the Leo new moon, talk about Mercury and its current retrograde period, and then also some general theme of transits that are going on for August of 2024. So, with this Leo new moon, whenever I think of Leo energy, of course I think of the sun, given it's a ruling planet of Leo. And when we think of the sun, we think of an energy that is always consistent. The sun will always come out no matter what the weather is. The sun is always present. We always know that there is light present. And generally speaking, when we can feel that warm energy, that radiance from the sun, it feels really good. There's this stimulation, let's say, that occurs, and all the science that's backed up with us getting that natural sunlight, how good it is for our body. And we can also translate that to when we are allowing ourselves to shine authentically, when we are doing what we love, and no matter what's going on around us, that we consistently show up. And we also have people praising us and worshiping us, like people worship the sun, like people are so happy to say and to talk about the weather and talk about when there's going to be a really nice weekend or when there's pleasurable weather on their holiday. It's strongly connected to Leo energy. And also, I find it funny how people will just talk about the weather to make small talk. And when we are talking about like a really solar or a really Leo-esque figure, like a celebrity or a politician, like we always talk about them no matter what, or it's an easy topic of conversation, especially when it's someone that we really like. So you can imagine as if you're talking about yourself or your life or someone that you're wanting to connect with who wants to talk about you. It's like, yeah, I just met this amazing person. They're so funny. They're so witty. They're so beautiful. They're so smart. They're so ambitious. They're so, what is that? Like, what do you want to be known for? That connection to the sun, your identity. And this connection around the Leo new moon that we have currently being activated, really be honest with yourself in terms of what is my identity? What makes me happy? Am I doing daily things to get me closer and closer to this? And there's also that notion of connecting with your highest self, whether that be in a relationship, in your dream job, the perfect amount of wealth, the perfect amount of health, whatever that is. It's like, okay, I know that this is where that is. How can I reverse engineer this and take steps every day to get there? And this Leo new moon specifically could have brought you significant downloads or at least this general feeling of ease on why that is so. So let's take a look at the chart and look at the transits specifically as to why this is so. So this Leo new moon happened on Sunday, August 4th at 7:13 a.m. Eastern Standard Time approximately. We can see that the sun and moon are at 12 degrees of Leo. Furthermore, the moon was co-present Venus while making that applied sextile to Jupiter in Gemini. So we can see that the moon is in aspect to both benefic planets. This is extremely fortunate for the moon in terms of our body, our emotions, feeling nurtured. And whenever a planet is in good connection to the moon, it can be said to be tethered to our bodies and thus helping us to understand the energy of those planets in this physical 3D world, right? So furthermore, we want to look at the house in our natal chart ruled by Leo, and then you can also make that connection to the house ruled by Gemini, given that's where Jupiter is, to see where some positive energy is coming forth within your life or what was heavily activated during this Leo new moon specifically. If you want further clues on what to focus on or where you maybe want to spend more time being reflective and being in stillness. Now, Mercury is also going to be retrograde. I'm currently filming this at 5 in the morning on Monday, August 5th, and we see that Mercury is already retrograde and Venus has moved into Virgo. This notion, like I just mentioned, of being happy, of being authentic, knowing our identity, with Mercury now retrograde and moving back towards Leo, we might currently find ourselves in a situation that doesn't feel happy, that doesn't feel authentic, that doesn't feel aligned with our higher self. And I'm not sure if any of you have felt this, where you are at a certain part of your life, whether that be life overall, or in your career, or in a relationship, and you're thinking, how did I get here? How did I move forward in these days, weeks, months, years? and get to this point that doesn't feel anything like who I am, or I don't feel respected, or I don't feel seen, or I don't feel in alignment at this job or with this person. And remember that we face so much conditioning, so much imprinting, so much trauma in different parts of our life that if we don't take time to slow down, to reevaluate, to get the support that we need, then we will day after day be taking these micro or macro steps in a certain direction that may or may not be in alignment to then wake up one day and say, how did I get here? So this Mercury retrograde, especially with Mercury being in such strong dignity in its rulership and exaltation in the sign of Virgo, now co-present Venus, and making that very applied conjunction, it gets to be an opportunity where we maybe retrace our steps to get closer back into that core authentic part of ourself, to reform these ideas, these beliefs, that these mindsets of what makes us happy, that allows us to be authentic, is enough. I'll give a really quick example of this. So growing up, I had a very wild upbringing in multiple different ways, which we will not get into those details. However, a very safe space for me and what I truly enjoy doing is playing video games, a lot of like RPGs, tactical games, even like race car games when I was really young. It was something that I really enjoyed, something that gave me a lot of pleasure and also like just helped me escape. There was that fantasy, that illusion, that Neptune part of video games. And then growing up, it still allowed me to really go into these realms that not only allowed me to escape, that allowed all this rich creativity of all these different stories, of all these different worlds. And when I learned of the Matrix and how certain things work, I just kind of giggled whenever I played video games because like the most meta thing, like you can really think of someone using you as an avatar and like playing your life as a video game or watching your life as a movie, which is another conversation for another time. But if you know, you know. And recently I've been doing a lot of voiceover work in video games and training and getting a lot of really good feedback. And all my training with regards to TV and film acting was also able to help me in voiceover, but specifically voiceover for video games, because it's allowing me to be seen and get a lot of really good praise for this specific niche in the entertainment industry in something that I've always loved doing. So instead of judging myself for playing video games or all these negative critiques around, especially men who play video games, I'm like, well, no, now it gets to be a very viable income stream, something I'm really passionate about, something that I love to do anyway. And then I'm also around other people that are training in this field that are also incredible voiceover artists that are really finding expansion and great community and great opportunity by pursuing their passions. But again, if I would allow myself to be distracted or to go down a path to pursue other career opportunities because it was the right thing to do or because people were praising me or it's because what I thought I should be doing, then of course I would wake up one day and say, why am I doing this? This isn't bringing me joy. This isn't making me excited. I actually just want to go and do this. And I assure you that I'm seeing this a lot in terms of client consults or one question readings or anything of that matter, in that more and more people are like, this isn't the life that I want. My body is giving out. My mind is giving out. I need and want to slow down so I can recalibrate and actually decide who and what I want to connect with. So if that is you, you are not alone, number one. But number two, this Mercury retrograde is a perfect opportunity for you to connect with that. One other thing I want to go back. We've summoned Mercury retrograde, and now I really want to talk about this. On Friday, I posted on Stillwater's channels about this Venus-Uranus square. And this, I believe, is going to be a bigger story because Uranus can lead to surprise, unexpected change, revolution, innovation, things that are out of the norm, things that push us outside of our comfort zone. And so with Venus making a square to Uranus, and now with the moon making a square to Uranus and going over that exact degree, there could be things that you experienced on Friday and thus over the weekend that are also being amplified with this new moon energy. I'll give another quick example. On Friday, I came across this guy. I was in an Uber going to the gym, and this guy was like covered in tattoos. And I'm someone personally that likes a clean cut aesthetic. I've never ever in my life attracted a serious romantic interest that is covered in tattoos. Because my natal Venus is in Libra. I like when things are aesthetically pleasing, and to be able to dress well, to have good skin with tattoos, to have good tattoos that are actually beautiful, to know how to dress for your body, to accent the tattoos and to make it look good. I'm not going to settle. And for some, that may not matter at all. They just care about the raw beauty, but it's all of it for me. And in the past, like I said, it's just never been something I've attracted where I've had lovers or romantic interests covered in tattoos. But this guy, for whatever reason, I was like, he is one of the most attractive men I've ever seen, just like energetically. And I wasn't even next to him. I was in a car, he was sitting, and we both were just staring at each other. And I was like, whoa, like I could palpably feel an energy, an intensity that I've never felt before. And of course, it's not just the tattoos, but to experience that in a type of vessel or a type of beauty that I've never really connected with, I really attributed to this Venus-Uranus. And it makes me kind of view everyone else differently, where it's like, does that really matter in terms of them knowing how to dress and having skin and having tattoos that work? Or is it truly just about the connection? And obviously, it's just about the connection. And obviously, I know that I can have it all, that if there's going to be a partner covered in tattoos, that he's going to be able to dress well, take care of his skin. He's going to have beautiful tattoos that are going to look good no matter what. But although it seems silly, it's this notion of bringing us out of what may seem fixed or rigid, given that both Leo and Taurus are fixed signs, and allowing us to break free or to break through these rigid constraints of what brought us pleasure or what held us back from connection, right? These Venusian topics. And so with Mercury now retrograde, Mercury in aspect to Venus, and now the moon making a square to Uranus, it adds more pieces of the puzzle of what we are integrating with this Leo new moon. So I really want you to be mindful of what has come up over this past weekend, starting from Friday, when we were in the dark moon phase, but Venus was making that square with Venus in the sign of Leo, to us now having had that new moon on Sunday and now having the moon square Uranus while Mercury is stationed retrograde. All of these energies are here to help you review, to reevaluate, to reflect all these words when it comes to a retrograde on things that are bringing you into alignment, bringing you into greater purpose and happiness and greater authenticity. Okay. Now, before we continue, I have also prepared a Mercury retrograde workshop. Now, I prepared and produced other retrograde content in the past. So this specific Mercury retrograde workshop is a general overview of Mercury's domains, retrogrades, and then the energies of Virgo and Leo, where this retrograde is going to be happening. There's also really nice timings and specific dates to look out for. There's frequently asked questions. There is a guided meditation at the end that's around 10-15 minutes that really focuses on love and desire. And then there's also a PDF with a Mercury retrograde challenge. For every day of the retrograde, there are 24 in total. I give you a different challenge, and the challenges are also in alignment with the transits that are currently happening in real time. It's a really phenomenal resource. I'll put the link in the description in this video, and it's very accessible price point wise because I feel like this is only going to benefit everyone. And just some little things with Mercury retrograde that I want to touch on while looking at the transits. Number one, with Mercury retrograde in the sign of Virgo, Mercury has its rulership and exaltation in the sign of Virgo. And thus, we're starting off a retrograde period, one, co-present Venus. Even though Venus is in detriment in Virgo, it's still a benefic planet. So we see both strong dignity in Mercury, getting to aspect Venus within a close orb, and still making a square base aspect to Jupiter. So Mercury is an aspect to both benefics. Number two, the moon is going to be gaining light for most of this retrograde period. So as the moon is gaining light, gaining energy, there may be this more forward movement or more opportunity for you to gain clarity on these mercurial domains. And this is something that can be really interesting for all of us to reflect and examine upon with this Mercury retrograde, is that we're also looking at the moon and its lunar cycle as this retrograde occurs so that we know with any future retrograde, and I can't really remember a retrograde like this starting right after a new moon. So it really does feel that this connection to Leo is heavily a prominent flavor or introspective or curiosity point with this Mercury retrograde, okay? And then last of all, as with any retrograde, but especially a Mercury retrograde, take time to slow down, to focus on your mental health, to look at the houses in your natal chart ruled by Virgo and Gemini, given that Virgo and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury. These house topics are always going to be amplified. And we already see that we have 4 planets in these Mercury ruled houses. So those parts of your chart are already stimulated, and these get to be up for greater review. Plus the house ruled by Leo, not just because we had the Leo new moon, but because Mercury is going to retrograde back into Leo halfway through this retrograde cycle. All right. Boom. Now, for the month of August, there are some challenging aspects, not just because Mercury is retrograde. There are some T-squares that are going to be happening. I'll be posting more about that in content as it comes up. However, depending on where you are looking, what platforms you follow different astrologers on, a lot of astrologers have a lot of heavy opinions on August and the transits. I want to say a couple things because I'll have certain people in the comments or in the DM say, nothing bad is happening to me. Everything's going really well. I don't understand why people are kind of fear-mongering or doom and glooming this current month or this current period. And it is a really good reminder that all of these transits are to your specific natal chart. And there is a variety of timing techniques that we will use at any given time. Transits is just one of them. We also have solar returns, annual perfections, diagonal releasings, secondary progressions, circumambulations. Like there's so many different things that we will look at. With that being said, you will know, especially if you study astrology and you apply it to your own natal chart, what is being asked of you or where you are being called to direct your focus. And if there are certain challenging aspects that are happening because of Mercury's retrograde or because of Mars or Saturn on any given day, it'll likely be there for a reason. These transits are not meant to hurt you. They're not meant to be targeted at you. They are for your highest good. They are meant to serve you. If you take away the ego and being selfish and always wanting more and being like, when am I going to get the relationship, the job, the money? And understanding that even if you have a hard transit that lasts a year, that lasts 3 years, that goes 5 or 7 years, like there's different timing techniques that can last a long time. If you have the mindset that these not only benefit you, but they're also being of service to a greater collective consciousness, that you are benefiting so many other people by gaining greater understanding or empathy or understanding or knowledge because it is part of your soul's purpose, and that it is not going to destroy you. It's not going to permanently harm you. It may cause pain, it may cause disturbances, it may cause irritation, it may cause frustration, but it's not meant to harm you in a permanent, malicious way. It is here to serve your soul's evolution in the collective consciousness. If we can have that mindset, that even in these moments of difficulty, it is for our highest good. And I understand that can be extremely challenging. Trust me, the past 4 or 5 years, not just because of the pandemic, because of a lot of other things. Some of you may know, like I've shared certain health things, but there have been a lot of times where I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like I've learned the lesson, like let's go back. And then my body's like, absolutely not. And I really prioritize my health and my body so much, but especially since 2021, 22, when all this started happening, and there are still moments where I'm like, whoa, like I really thought I integrated and did so much work and I have so much knowledge and understanding of these principles, and I'm still learning more. And guess what? I attract clients where I'm able to disseminate this knowledge and help them move through it so that they don't have to suffer, so that they don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on healers, on all these different treatments, that they can move through it so much quicker. That makes me feel really good when I have clients that want to do the work and I can help support them with everything that I've learned. Generally speaking, and I don't know this for 100% certainty, but when we get to be of service and help other humans transmute their darkness into light. And there's that gratitude that you feel. There's that love and appreciation for the work that you're doing. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world. And I truly believe that all of us have felt that type of love, that generosity, that healing, whether that be from a friend, a partner, a teacher, a guru, a stranger, where we just had that moment of deep, deep gratitude when someone was able to help us in a moment of need. Now imagine being that for someone else. Imagine being that for a whole community, the world, whatever size is irrelevant, but it's that constant groundedness that any challenging transit, any challenging part in life is here to serve you, and thus going to serve the greater collective. And let me know if that resonates, but that really helps me tune back in because it takes the ego out. It takes it up about all being about me. And I understand, like I said, you can have those moments to feel frustrated, to feel sad, to feel sorry for yourself. But at a certain point, such as this Leo new moon, there will be clarity, there will be hope, there will be a way forward. And if you take it step by step, very Virgo in nature, where you just take it one step, one day at a time, you get closer and closer to not only finding the path that leads to your purpose, that leads to that true authentic self, you're also paving the way for anyone else that wants to follow in your footsteps and makes that path bigger, makes it a double lane highway, makes different towns and cities along the path for other people to grow and to respect the work that you've done. And they want to continue this way forward. If that resonates, take it to the bank, sit with it, draw from it. Because as I mentioned, yes, on paper, there are some challenging aspects that are happening in August, but nothing that is meant to deter you. It's all meant to serve you and a higher power. Okay, that's all I got. So let me know that resonates. As I mentioned, the Mercury Retrograde Workshop description and everything you need to know will be in the description below. And Mercury Retrograde is playing tricks on my mind, so I will let you go. Have a phenomenal August. Any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah. Bye.